we're going to have Tom Myers up next. Mr. Myers?
Thanks very much for coming this evening to hear all the candidates tonight. We've got a wonderful field of candidates, we really do. And Phil, believe it or not, he's worried. He's moderated his views in the last year. I mean, it's ridiculous. You'd have to think he wanted to become a Democrat, but not really. Because it's an election year, and this is what Phil does. This is his MO. He actually wants to create the illusion that he actually cares about, you know, working families and kids and our seniors and, you know, our business people and labor. We're not going to let him pull the wool over this community's eyes one more time. I am sure that every one of these candidates in this race agrees that we're going to work hard, whoever the nominee is, and beat Phil in the fall. That's what we need to do. That's how important the stakes are in this race. Now, for my part, again, my name is Tom Myers. I've never run for office before. I'm the board chairman of the YMCA of Greater Erie. I'm an attorney with 21 years of broad legal experience. I'm a husband, father, and a lifelong Erie County Democrat. I grew up in rural Erie County in a strong union family with 5 generations of ironworkers. My father devoted his life to the labor movement and chartered the Ironworkers Local 348 right here in the city of Erie, believe it or not, back in 1922. He was born in 1896, my dad was. Not many of us in here can probably claim a parent that was born in the 19th century. In any event, he was 64 when I was born. That man taught me a lot. One of the things that I grew up with in my family were some incredibly strong democratic values, like fairness and equal opportunity, and a sense of responsibility for my fellow man. Now, those are labor movement values. And through my parents' strong example, I was led to volunteer for numerous community organizations, like the YMCA, like the American Lung Association, and like my church, the First Presbyterian Church of the Covenant. Now, whether through nonprofit board work, or coaching youth sports, or preparing Christmas and Easter food baskets for the needy, you know, I learned the important lesson of reaching out and giving back to my fellow man. And that's a lesson that my wife Kendall and I, who's a cardiovascular intensive care nurse at St. Vincent, are trying to teach to our 2 school-age daughters, Madison and Mackenzie. And it's part of what inspired me to run for Congress. I believe that service is the greatest gift that a person can give or receive. You know, sadly, due to the misplaced priorities of George Bush and his supporters like Phil English, we are on a very dangerous path. The American dream has become a mirage for most. We've lost 4,000 soldiers in Iraq. We've spent $500 billion there. At the same time, we're pursuing irresponsible fiscal and trade policies that have eroded our middle class, that ship our good jobs overseas, and that are mortgaging our children's futures. We've got 47 million healthcare uninsured in this country. Skyrocketing gas prices. Real wages for the average worker are stagnant. Meanwhile, the likes of the insurance, pharmaceutical, and oil industries, you know, they're enjoying record profits year after year. And they boast CEOs paid a king's ransom. Folks, you know, I believe we got to get our priorities straight in Washington and make this country work again for the average American, for real people, for all of you. I think we've got to get back to basics and pursue long-term economic policies that promote equal opportunity with accountability and a level playing field so that every single hard-working American has a fair shot at getting ahead. That's what the American dream is supposed to be about. That's the one that my parents protected for me, and that yours protected for you, and that we want to pass on to our kids, and to our neighbors, and their children. Now, I'm very honored by the fact that our Lieutenant Governor, Catherine Baker Nolan, has endorsed my candidacy. She is our honorary chairperson. I have the working class values, demonstrated dedication to community service for over 20 years, and 21 years of broad legal experience to be the most effective representative for individuals, families, businesses, labor, for our communities in Washington, D.C. And I will not let you down. Phil English, he's on borrowed time. He has not seen a candidate like me in a long time. I've made a practice out of taking on bullies and fighting for the regular folks against the powerful for over 20 years now. And I am chomping to do the bit. Chomping at the bit to take him on in the same way. If you'll make me the nominee, I pledge to you that I will do so. And we're going to hear a loud crash in November. Because the bigger they are, the harder they fall. As your congressman, I will fight to bring our combat troops home from Iraq as safely and swiftly as possible, because until we do so, just like Kyle mentioned, we cannot truly refocus our resources and our efforts on our important domestic priorities like we need to. And you've heard about a number of those priorities here tonight. You know, like getting control of over our spiraling federal debt, which is now at $9.4 trillion. Do you realize that when George Bush took office in 2000, it was $5.5 trillion? That man has increased it, him and his cronies, over 67% in just 7 years. It's shocking. Absolutely shocking. Like ending unfair trade agreements that are robbing our communities of family-sustaining jobs. And promoting good jobs, jobs you can support a family on here in our communities, with economic development, and the federal dollars that can help with infrastructure projects and bring businesses into our communities. Like passing universal health care. You know, universal health care that's affordable, accessible, and portable, that has basic services with wellness and prevention, mental health, prescription, and where there are no pre-existing condition exclusions. Like renewable energy policy. That is the wave of the future. The oil industry has milked that cow basically dry on the backs of the American public over the last 30 years. Who didn't know that there was an energy crisis 30 years ago? I did a paper on it when I was a junior at Penn State. I mean, come on. We should have transitioned to a sustainable energy policy based on renewables over these last 3 decades. And instead, here we are, and they knew it was coming because they were cashing in. Finally, education policy. Because truly, that is the key to restoring a middle class. Education. It is the great equalizer. Higher education ought to be a launching pad for our young adults, not a chain that drags them down into debt. We need education policies that bring the American dream sharply back into focus for our youth. And where college isn't a pipe dream barred by cost, but it's an affordable and achievable reality. I will fight for these things as your congressman. You have my word on that. I think you'll all agree with me that we need a healthy environmental, economic, and social legacy for future generations. I'm committed to it. Please vote for Tom Myers on April 22nd. Appreciate your support. Thank you.
Kick it live with the CLB. Hey yo, that be the DJ roll with me.